Hey everyone! Today we are going to be flipping through an old notebook by me, well, journal, and it's a really old Moleskine from 2016. And this was when I was creating a series that some of you older followers remember called Blue Star. What started this idea to go back to it and think more about it was a conversation I had today with Tete de Punk. She was telling me how much she hated this character, Kuzma. But I was thinking that maybe I didn't do him justice. Maybe the way that I was portraying him highlighted certain traits that weren't necessarily the most interesting. But I do remember a lot of people enjoyed this character and his story, including, Hellborn. And, this story, as a summary, was basically, it actually was set in the same time frame as um, Tete's story, so the 1920s and 1930s Soviet Union. And it was about a family, the Mayakov family, which there were three brothers. Kuzma's the youngest, and the second brother, Mitya, died during the Russian Civil War. So Kuzma is very deeply affected by Mitya's death, and he has a very shaky relationship with his father, Ardayan. And Kuzma wants to he wants to progress through the Communist Party because he is a writer and he is someone with a very vivid imagination, but he must quash parts of his personality and his imagination to fit in with the party line. So, and he's also in love with one of my characters that I've now moved to Sam, New York, but she was originally from this series, Katya. And he met Katya when she was a soldier because she was part of a pet project that his father was interested in. So in the 1920s in the Soviet Union, there was this push for women to be liberated, to have, this free sex and, even, women in schools, women universities, feminism. And part of that initiative in my story was, to have some women participate in the war effort. So Katya, she did not, kill anyone or anything during the war, but she did um, participate in some army drills to promote morale in the new society, and she was part of that. And this is where she met Ardayan, Kuzma's father, and she eventually had an affair with him. And this really, and she is older than Kuzma, I think by 6 or 7 years. And at this point, she's a teenager and he's a child, but she captures his imagination because, of course, his mother finds out that Katya is having an affair with her husband, and this creates a lot of problems. And she's always bad mouthing Katya, but this sparks Kuzma's interest in her. And of course, at this point, it's just curiosity. He's trying to understand why there is so much judgment and so much condemnation, and as he matures he starts associating certain traits with Katya, and when they meet again as adults he does fall in love with her. And okay, I will explain as we go through this, but yeah, these are just drawings of Kuzma as a child, and this is the beginning. And there's a train. So Kuzma's at a dacha, which is like this little cottage where he's thinking about a bunch of thoughts he has. So Kuzma is really into he's really into cosmism, and he's thinking about viscerals and the human body. And then he's thinking about his brother Mitya getting revived because in cosmism, he they really emphasize resurrection and people becoming alive again at the end of history. And yeah, this is another picture of him having these cyborg arms come out from the back. He's just indulging in his fantasy, and this is him looking at his brother in the glass coffin. And then we're back to reality where he's thinking about writing and feeling stressed, and he suddenly thinks about something sexual, and then he thinks about his brother, his oldest brother, who is shown here, and then how his oldest brother is married. And then he's thinking about propaganda, like that propaganda poster, and then he's outside again, and then he's thinking about Mitya again, and then he's thinking about cosmism again. And this is a shout out to my friend Melancholy Cyber's character, Chizuko, who really liked Kuzma back then in 2016. We had a lot of role plays with them. And then this is the beginning of another chapter. Yeah, I didn't include any words here back then because it was basically pictures I posted on DeviantArt, and then in the description I would just write paragraphs about what is happening. So it was pretty confusing. Maybe I'm going to go back to this and scan it and add actual, you know, speech bubbles. So this is one of his co-workers, Kuzma's co-workers, Sergei, and he is someone who looks down on Kuzma's idealism because Kuzma's too idealistic to be a communist writer. And, this is another co-worker of Kuzma's, Minin, and he does not like Kuzma's dreaminess, and, he doesn't think he can survive or that he's going to last very long. And this is another picture of Kuzma thinking about his brother's death, with a bullet being shot through his head. And this is one of his boss, actually, this Kuzma's boss, who is obsessed with propaganda. And then another picture of Kuzma dreaming about something. He's just too dreamy. But this is why he likes writing, because it is not only an escape for him, but also a way for him to structure his thoughts. And this is just his brother, the oldest brother, Yuri, in Turkestan, where he and Mitya were fighting against the Basmachi rebels who did not want to be included under communism. And then this is his manager, Galkin, who is thinking about, revolutionizing everything and turning everything red. Kuzma in the bathtub thinking more. And yeah, there's more pictures. I'm not going to go through all of them, but there's some pretty good art here, like this one, where Kuzma's thinking about industry and how, the new society is actually very depressing. And this is his mother, Sania. She was innocent before, she got married to Ardayan, Kuzma's father, but now she is really, really dissatisfied. And he has a very close relationship with his mother, which he never had with his father. Yeah, and that's Sania and Ardayan when they were young. And then, yeah, he's thinking about Katya. Katya's father was a peasant, as you can see here. And yeah, just more stuff about Katya and her past. And how, she had a very traumatic experience with Ardayan. And this is how Kuzma met Katya for the first time when he was a child and when she was a teenager, having that affair or, that stint, in the army with his father. And they were at a Turkestani bazaar, so you can see a lot of nice rugs here. And I never finished this page. I just gave up after this. But, I think I might consider returning to this, and I still have the rest of the notebook to go through.